Hello. How are we doing today? Fantastic. So we're about to get started. We reserved a bit of the first row, and I hope I make sure. But please feel free to go up the bleachers and sit down wherever you like. Good to see you. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. Accelerate sounds, please start to appear, if you don't mind. We're about to start, we're about to begin, okay? Because we want to make this quick. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us here. We're so grateful to have you. So, where's Justin? Hey, Justin, you're my co-host. What's going on? It's all you, man. It's all you. Fantastic. So let's settle down. We'll let him hang out with water. Let him hang out with water so everybody's able to chill. Wow. You got it. Yeah, I have nothing to do. Okay. Everybody, welcome. I know it's hot today. I'm going to start to slow a little bit. But there are, if it gets too hot, of course, water. There's AC spaces in there. Yeah. And really, I can't think of a better place to be hosting today. Except for the heat. And right here. Don't worry, we're building it up bit by bit. By the time you come back, next level starts. Woo! And then we'll be able to get this place to be cooler, okay? So for now, please just bear with us. We know how cold it is, and we're going to try and make sure it's as comfortable as we can make it. So for those who don't know, we're in Unilag right now, University of Lagos. That's the flagship university in Nigeria. And before Silicon Valley was Silicon Valley, it's pretty far ahead of trends. And the reason some entrepreneurial semiconductor companies decided to be based in cities like Palo Alto and Menlo Park is because of the technical. And I think it's no surprise that when EU started to develop, the first 7 offices, I think was it 2 years? Yes, first 7 offices in 2 years. All within one. But also Chicago, Gambia, they all have their offices in walking distance of the city here. And so I had a chance to hear that Tony speak a couple of days ago, each part of the book. And what impressed upon me the most was this idea of the most important thing in startups are people and time. It's what you build with the people that and the people that you build with. And I feel really grateful to be up here with you because people are the people that gave me my first jobs coming out of undergrad. 8 years ago, I was chief of staff at Bell that recently closed. And to believe that, I guess 8 years later, that not only you would be one of my largest investors, but 4 of the co-founders of Bell would expect in the other company. And so I think this says something about the ecosystem that we are in, how important it is to the ecosystem robust and growing and events like this. And so in the effort of doing things like doing value marketing, I hope that the use events like this are a little different. Yeah, get over the post right. Exactly. I am so honored to have to come all the way to us here. Please give him a round of applause. When Justin and Ivan emailed me and were like, we're going to get the Silicon Valley legend to come here and I've watched General Magic more than once.
I'm such a big fan of Nest. I was so excited because a big part of what we do here is inspiring people to believe that. And building mirrors is not like building Silicon Valley. It's a lot harder. But sometimes just having people from Silicon Valley come and come and visit really does do a lot in terms of helping people see that builders see you too, right? Some of the best builders in the world see you too. Dallas has an incredible history of many people who've come to this neighborhood to visit. Starting with Mike Zuckerberg, we've had Jack Dorsey, we've had Sundar, we've had pretty much every major Silicon Valley CEO except the CEO of Apple, and then we're come here. So it's actually incredible to have us host battle, and we're super excited to have Mr. Paddles, so together, along with all our many guests. So the way things are going to go today is really simple. We've designed this to be a very chill event. We're not like going to program you. So we just have two fireside chats, one with founders to talk about challenges and opportunities for the ecosystem, another one with Tony, but for 30 minutes we'll talk about building, and we're reading a lot of your stuff and asking fairly tough questions for you. So getting ready. And then we'll just keep it loose, right? So all talk to each other. Today is the final day, sort of final day of the welcome week of our accelerator program. So we have here in the building our founders from all over the continent. If you're an accelerator founder, you can just wave your hand. Fantastic. So there are a number of the folks in the room, and we're expecting some other folks to come and join us here today. So without any further ado, there's a little bit of housekeeping I want to go through. We've got two bathrooms. There's one bathroom for women on the second floor, another bathroom for girls on the third floor, right here. We've got some small chops like snacks. And we've got some, we've got milk salt. We try not to serve sugary drinks, so forgive us. We'll find you sugary drinks if you're desperate, but yeah, we don't want you with sugar high or with very bad diabetes. So no sugar. But please stay hydrated. We're trying to get some meals in machines. We're hoping to keep it cooler. And that's pretty much all there is. Does anybody have any questions? We're small enough who can ask. No one's going to think you're silly. Okay. If you get really, really hot, we've got a games room up there. We're free to just walk in. It's super cool, a little bit chilly. But as you know, we're still trying to figure out the thermodynamics of open air spaces. But there was such a big number of people that this is the easiest, safest place to have an event. So please feel with us. One quick story before we start. One quick Tony story. I had a chance to meet John Gore, legendary Silicon Valley investor. And he showed me one of his prized investments, and I was expecting him to show something from Google. And I don't know if you know John Gore, but he's the one who invested in Google, made Spain portion from it. But he didn't show anything from the early days of Google. Instead, he brought out an original first generation iPhone. On the back, signed by Matt Rogers, of course, Tony Fadell. And so I think we're just especially grateful. It feels like it's a big thing for the that you're here. Not only that you, of course, created the iPhone, but the iPod, and that's starting from that 3 of the 50 most important gadgets. So really fortunate that we're here. It's so great to see so many familiar and new faces. And then Dr. Judge will pass it over to you. We're going to pass it over to OG. Where's the OG? Okay, forgive me. Where's Chris? I was looking for you, so I did your job. Okay, Chris runs the state, so we'll have Chris come and say a few words, and then bring up OG and get started. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, good afternoon to you. Welcome to the Math House. My name is Chris Udo. I'm the managing director here. It's such a great pleasure to have you gathered here as we have this wonderful event and chat. One of the things we are particularly interested in here in the Math House is to create opportunities for young creative entrepreneurs. And who better inspires us than me and the amazing team at Future Africa. So we heard that this event was happening here. We took not much of an effort to everyone coming here. Tony, we are really grateful to have you here. I have a couple of questions for you too, reading your book, and I think this conversation is going to be great. Welcome. I know it's not the best because it's all about I'm still trying to figure that out. But I guess the conversation is so intense that we forget the heat speed. But as Amy mentioned, we could use the games room and other speakers. Welcome to the Man House, feel at home and have fun. Thank you so much. OG. Okay. Welcome. Okay.
Hi everyone, how are you? Well, I didn't hear anything. Hi everyone, how are you? All right, well, we're going to jump right into it. We want to do a quick minute. Let's talk about the Nigerian ecosystem, get people sort of understand the opportunity and challenges. So without further ado, I want to welcome Louis Phillips, who is the founder of Titan Air Mobility. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause, please. And I also want to welcome Netta, my very new friend, who is the director of Innovate in Abuja. And I will sit down because I'm the moderator. So we want to first do intros. And instead of double dipping, I'm just going to let you introduce yourself to the audience, and then we'll have a couple of questions, maybe some questions before we get to talking to Tony. So I am RG Individual. I am a partner at Accelerate Africa, which is Accelerate that just wrapped up its first week here in the historic Mad House. I Chief Product Officer at Calendly, the VP of Twitter, Chief Product Officer at Type1. And if you go further back, it's Microsoft and the team. So that's who I am, but I'm here to help build this ecosystem and turn it into a powerhouse for the world. Nana?
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Nana Kamini. More than everything, I'm an entrepreneur myself. I moved to Nigeria 7 years ago. I've been living in Lagos overseas, and I travel a lot in Lagos to Abuja. In Abuja, I'm the VP Programs and Partnerships at Innovate Travel. And we already have platforms, incubation, and accelerator programs, mostly for hardware startups, but not only. Our uniqueness is in the fact that, in addition to supporting on all the venture creation and development aspect, we also have everything that one would need in terms of technology, machinery, and in-house experts that supports you on developing your prototypes, producing minimum viable products, as well as going to small-scale production. So, and hardware and the more comes to our programs, we end up holding actual prototype, and we can also help with the next phase of small-scale production, so that you can get your products and prepare things of early adopters to be more ready for investment.
Okay.
Hi, awesome to be here. My name is Louis Phillips. First and foremost, I'm a physicist. So, started a career in business development and products, and also we're building Titan Air Mobility. So Titan Air Mobility, at Titan Air Mobility, we're building we call it a real business side. to connect rural and urban areas. We realize that Nigeria and Africa as a whole is not as connected as it should be, not as connected as Europe is connected, not as connected as the US is connected, and it's not even as connected as China is connected. And we've seen that the speed of commerce is very much dependent on the speed of logistics, the speed of transportation and stuff. So, we've been doing, Titan Air Mobility is actually a real brand of a business of a company that's been running for over 10 years now, in the advanced air mobility space. And also, we had a spin-off of the company, which is doing practically exactly what she's doing. So, it is interesting that this doesn't happen often, and you get people in panels doing hardware and fintech in Nigeria. Like, this is just a coincidence.
All right, I agree with you. I'm going to make that comment. Tony, our guest here, well, all of you, but Tony specifically, you said you didn't like hardware. Was that what you were saying?
I don't like it.
Okay, you only like it absolutely fine. So, a lot of people on the conference here are software, but our guests are hardware and fintech. Very excited about that. I just came off of a demo yesterday from Meta, was an amazing conference. So this is very rare, but we're doing this because, of our guests, and but also because we bring all the person's perspective. So I'm going to keep it simple. I have really just 2 questions, right? And then we'll turn it over for both of you. So that's it. One is, tell us a lot about the upside. What have you learned? No, actually, what are the opportunities you see working in this very maybe difficult, I don't know, maybe challenging aspect of entrepreneurship, especially here in Nigeria now? And what opportunities and what you've learned about what you
Okay, what I've learned specifically, let me just give an example of that. So, we have a lot of engineers, and we've been trying to deploy those engineers into doing stuff that the market needs. Because our project, like an MVP, is still like 5 years away. Yeah, so we are very realistic about that. So we're preparing our engineers to solve problems, immediate problems. And we see that there is a lot of need for hardware and fintech products in Nigeria. And to such an extent that you work with investing, apparently, we have an LOI of roughly about $400,000 from 2 founders that he has invested. I'm not sure if they've broken the news in anyway. I'm not mentioning the names. So we what we've been getting is reverse engineering. Like just reverse engineering of things that already exist. But because of the unique situation we find ourselves in Nigeria, those things to take, for instance, to take at least 15 to 20 weeks before it lands, and then the landing cost is like 5 times or 5 times the cost it is in China. It's unprofitable to just buy. Even if it's profitable, it's hugely expensive. So really, we literally do not have a choice. So the majority of the work we've been getting reverse engineering of products. So there is a lot of need for those hardware and tech innovations, even if they are already existing elsewhere in the world. But because we need to participate, then that upside is literally like a blank check for hardware and tech companies.
And I guess before you hand over opportunity, like you've learned there's a need for this. Just play the few more years. Like, what do you see? Where is it going? For your business or what things are you learning see?
So for us, we are developing, which is our side quest anyway, that's Innovia Labs. We are developing Innovia Labs to be like a mothership, just to help others develop solutions. And then those solutions can go and respond by themselves and look at the other things to do. So that's why we are kind of form some kind of venture studio because at the end of the day, like Meta said, you have the equipment, you literally build anything you want to build. We have the expertise, we have the engineers, we have, even when it comes to software, we have some of those talents in such a way that even some state governments have been approaching us to help them do some kind of full stack build of the particular sector, software, hardware, firmware, everything. So yes, we are seeing this like the mothership at the end of the day because the hardware and the tech spaces do not have developers the software, internet, and the insurance tech, the logistics. They are not as developed. So this is just pretty much the foundation for everything that's going to come up in the next 5 years.
Yeah, opportunities, lesson learned.
Yes, so there are many problems that can be solved by hardware solutions. The main is this common rule that the entrepreneurs I met here, usually they come up with very innovative business models that are more likely to succeed in the local environment. And having their own innovative business model, as well as developing the capacity to develop the actual solution locally, makes a whole package that is way more, that has way more potential to succeed. Again, because of the high costs and logistic issues with importation, etc. In addition to the fact that there are a lot of adjustments that need to be made in order to fix the local environment. And there are also a lot of ideas that I meet where entrepreneurs actually take different approach because they understand the local need and the local markets that is more suitable for the African market. So we thought that we should prioritize effectivity and affordability over size. So we designed the more like a bulky hearing aid that may not be popular in the Western world, but may be very popular and relevant for the African market because it's because the fact they make it more bulky, but still as effective, makes it much more cheaper. So we came up with a hearing aid that would cost $300 instead of $2,000, which is the average price. So the local entrepreneur's perspective on the local market needs puts them in the best position to solve problems. So I see a lot of potential there. Yeah, and I think it's very important to create an enabling environment for this kind of entrepreneurs. Should I talk a bit about the challenges that I see?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So the two major challenges that our companies face are one, for ideation to prototype, they have challenged to access technology, machinery, and expertise they need to develop the first prototype. So we get innovative part to provide that. And then there's a need to really look at, of course, there's a very limited manufacturing capacity. So when you design a product, you really need to look at what are the existing ways of manufacturing and design your product in a way that we rely on what's locally available and what's on importing material or using manufacturers in China, etc. So if you're building on plastic bonding, it's a problem in Nigeria because only designing the mold will cost us $60,000 and you need to do it out of Nigeria. Then, unless you want to order thousands of units the first time, no one will take it into their production line. So it will be hard for you to produce your first 100 units or 200 units. So what we do is to try and help them with finding ways again, product design that fits the local capacity, as well as do the software production so that we can start. The second phase is the second challenge is going from having a good prototype to having your product in the hands of early adopters, which makes you more investment ready. And the problem is that in the Western world, in Silicon Valley, we're used to call this phrase like the friends and family round. You raise money from your friends and family to create your first 200 units. And then you move your concept, and then investors will come in. And here to raise money for my friends and family, it's more challenging. So that is when we need also investors who are really ready to take the risk of investing in first stage, or use grants and governments to support the stage of first small scale production. Yeah.
You covered a bunch of questions I wanted to ask. Don't be sorry. That's lovely. Well, I have a question for you. One is, you mentioned reverse engineering. How do you think about intellectual property? And also, what kind of success stories have you seen in this space, in this defense space that you're excited about?
Okay, I guess to intellectual property in Italy, when you buy from China, you are not talking intellectual property. So initially, when we got the question, well, hey, come on, reverse engineer this, and when we got the device, the huge device anyway. When we got the device, and we saw that if we reverse engineer it, the way the manufacturers actually made it, it was going to be difficult to produce. The kind of machines that are available in Nigeria would not be able to get that particular shape and that particular feature the way the manufacturers did it. So what we did was use that as an accelerator and then design from the ground up again for a brand new product. So if you saw both of them side by side, you would never know that one was an inspiration for the other. So we added a lot of unique features because our clients were requesting for some unique features that they were going to implement on their own products, that's not in the primary products. So at the end of the day, it gives room for some level of customization because you own the whole process. Now, the intellectual property that we develop that belongs to clients, also belongs to us. So, yeah.
Do you have like a deep text success story that you want to share with us? Something that was hard, solved lots of problems, maybe made it out commercially. I'm curious. I'm so very curious.
For us, it's still early. It's still early. Yeah, and the product is not getting into the market. That's what we can also think about. Yeah, so.
I don't know. I saw amazing stuff. I saw the conversion to EVs, your thing. I saw charging. I mean, these are unique things solving unique African problems.
Yes.
Unique African problem mobility and entrepreneurship. Also, like, I'm curious about that.
So there's the new that you talked about, but there's also, yes, there's Revive, who are creating eco-vehicles that turns a vehicle to an electric vehicle. And they also create a network of battery swap. So they train the engineers to use their network with chips, where the technicians, the care drivers, they start from the space of the pet to like the yellow tricycle. Yes, so they retrofit the PK into electric PK, and then they create a network of battery swapping. But there's also a guy that identified the problem that poultry farmers are facing. So poultry farmers, even the biggest farms, will use the most high-tech technology. They are required to regularly measure the poultry for the growing process. And so far, they are all, even the most sophisticated farms, they are all doing manual measurements. So this guy is actually a doctor from the university, and he has developed system that we effectively capture images. We use image analysis to provide the required measurements. So this is an interesting one. And I'm trying to think what else is.
Are these companies that are looking for investments start to scale? What success has
So this guy just graduated our program last a few months ago. So it has several units of this prototype, at least 15 beta site. And then now the one that is so we are young, we're 3 years old, right? So most of our portfolio companies are still in the pilot phase or fully staying significant. But the last one I would mention is Mayowa from Epoch Zero, who is now in an Intel's GitOps program, and he's created a platform that we prioritize the work for archaeologists. Do you know that in Nigeria, we only have one radiologist for every 60 hospitals, right? So this system analyzes X-rays and ultrasounds and identifies cases that needs to be prioritized and prioritized to work for the radiologists. So that's another one.
Okay, so I feel like I have one more question that I'll throw it to the audience. For our guests here, is there anything you want to know or have a question about deep tech, about the ecosystem here in Nigeria, or hardware? Any questions at all? We can come to that one.
Hi, my name is Kalam. You're from San Francisco. I have a question. So Nigeria, I think it's actually imports a lot of products. It's going to be right there, develop there, things like that. Do you see any potential in Nigerian ideas or Nigerian products, Nigerian ways of thinking, or can be exported back to the US?
I'm opinionated about this, but I'm just a moderator, so yeah, I really want to take that. Yeah.
There are some things. There are some. Yes, we can talk about talent, but when it comes to products, there are some things that you just don't want to invent the wheel. Some products are already good as they are from the US or from China. And if you're not going to add any value in terms of time to market or in terms of quality of the product or in terms of pricing, I'm not sure we need some kind of a bounty for making a Nigerian version of the product. But if it's a product that is conceptualized here, manufactured here, I think there is an opportunity for it to be a product that is exported, not necessarily to the US, but probably to other African countries because we have similar challenges. We have some of the solutions still are similar. So it is an easier export for those kind of solutions to other African countries rather than exporting to the US for specific kind of products. And also for the product I was talking about, one of our clients that is also yesterday. So it's an opportunity for there to be a Nigerian version of that particular product that is actually being exported to the US because that same product is not being produced in the US, it's being produced in China and being shipped into the US. So if there is a manufacturing in Lagos, it is an opportunity to attract ship from Lagos to the US. Like that would be a good opportunity.
I think I'll try to maybe do a little bit of a contribution to this. We already export a lot of things, mostly talent into the US. Actually, Andela, I know I work with all these years trying to take the nuclear energy and bring it to Nigerians and export it all over the world to help people build a better world. Also, obviously, Nollywood is the second most prolific entertainment producer in the world, behind Bollywood and ahead of Bollywood in terms of actual production. And actually, recently I just saw an ad exporting the world price, I guess, culture to everyone. But honestly, the serious answer, maybe more serious answer is one of the reasons we have this people and things we're working on is that we need to do better in exporting software and hardware innovation, which are capable all over the world. And accelerate specifically the accelerator is dedicated to finding entrepreneurs who are committed to doing something like something, building something hardware. And so we need African problems, but only that solves the world problem. We have a few in the audience, and maybe when they talk about what they do, we'll see the connections with them. Whose take problems that are unique to this space, but also export them all over the world. We're very excited about that. But in the age of AI, we believe that the probability of building those companies, but there's a lot that has to happen in the ecosystem. All that we need to make happen. So, he specifically is, one of the things that I've seen him do is think about not just innovation, but creativity. Legislation and law, laws, things, finance, manufacturing, and so on. And there's lots of other efforts. Question?
Hi, I'm Nene. I'm from the also organizing the innovation industry. I actually have an answer. Question. We are very concerned about the sustainability issue and anything about sustainability and building a sustainability early on into your products. Could you comment a little bit on that? I mean, now it's very early. How soon do you start talking about that with your founders, including your data? Thank you so much. Sure. I was actually going to ask you permission to add something to the opportunities. And I was going to say it's a little bit niche, but yes, Nigeria also suffers from a lot of waste, from a big issue of waste. And we see a lot of power entrepreneurs who actually solve one problem by solving another problem. So we have Dorothy who turns electric e-waste and plastic waste into affordable solar mountains. So we always try to teach them and preach about sustainability and see how in the family production process we can take sustainability under consideration. And I have to say, a lot of the founders, a lot of the entrepreneurs, they come with an initial idea that is already about using ways to create something else. And sometimes it's even technology that is being made from waste. Yeah.
The thing that I've noticed with hardware entrepreneurs specifically, they have much more, unlike our software people who have no ethics whatsoever. They actually, if you start a young hardware entrepreneur, you're going to find really much of planet. That's what I'm saying. So even in the trip that I looked at, I saw solar tech that is completely recyclable. I saw battery tech that was safe for the environment. I saw the company that you talked about. So I feel hopeful and confident about circular economy and sustainability from the hardware side most. And I feel like we need to teach the software people a lot more ethics as well as we are coming out.
And even just the fact of locally producing stuff, it's already more sustainable because it reduces the location, carbon, or provides the device that is connecting solar developers to the carbon credit market.
Oh yes, I'm gonna
I'll just stay complete. So one of the startups are really believing, although it has some fun. It's a company called Vector. The Vector, they help them develop device. It's a device that is looking at how to connect local solar developers and people who install solar and mini-grids to the global carbon credit market. So their device is about our example to install a mini-grid, but it also has all kind of technology that I don't know, that secures and makes sure that the data they collect is really reliable. And they are also connected to the value drivers like Terra and the other organizations who monetize the carbon credit. The money goes down to the developer, and he is able to also reduce the prices for the end user of the users.
Yes.
So we love that.
Right. Okay, so one of the companies that we're working with, I think that one is not big now. We made a conscious choice to stay away from plastic in producing their solar boxes. So to finish producing solar boxes that can be as cheap as less than $300 for 1 kilowatt hour. Both house shops, barber shops, small production shops and all across Lagos and rural areas. So one of the decisions we made, that was an active decision, was to stay away from plastic and produce this with metal. It cost us a lot of time in terms of developing the metal enclosure in such a way that it looks good and also feels good at least to touch and just everything around it. So we can always recycle, but recycling plastic is still 50%. And so in that regard, there is a conscious choice in terms of kind of materials we put in with products that we are putting into the market.
All right, everyone, that's all the time we have. Can we give a round of applause to Justin? Thank you so much for all your listening time, and I'll hand it back to you. Thank you so much. Let's keep that up. Can we take a picture? Broadcast, can we all come up with this? Now, right before we get to the stage, we want to have you talking about the weekend. We don't have a talking about it. We'll take this one for you. You're home, buddy. Fantastic. So, thank you guys very much. We're just going to have a quick conversation. We're just going to have a brief conversation about I'm going to start a brief conversation. My whole reason with this conversation is really to talk a little bit pandemic moment and get a little bit of Silicon Valley secret and this sort of information. So before I let you introduce yourself, my original intention was we so we could watch General Magic last night. We had a movie night last night, and towards the end, there was a place where we were about to introduce you, and we were telling you all how many albums they how many things.
let's get into about global rights management films today. So we'll find out who owns the rights to general mapping. So I can pay them off so every young entrepreneur in Nigeria can watch it. So we can show that next time. But in the in the intervening period, it'll be great for you to just tell your story. You know,
Well, where do you want me to begin? I'm not young like that.
I know.
I think grown up.
Well, how did a football player end up inventing the iPod?
So I started, I had my first, it was the first computer I used, which was it's a punch card. So literally, there was no monitor. There's no screen like we know it. The only monitor that I had was printout. So it was not eco-friendly at all. It was just print, and it was lines. And it was a basic printer. And you had a typewriter, and it connected to a mainframe ways away. And that's what I used to program BASIC with cards that you would use a pencil. And you program like this, you get a stack of cards for the machine. And I was in fifth grade at the time. So I was literally 11 years old. So that was my first usage of computer, made the BASIC go. People interrupted me. I'm like, how did you get access to that kind of computer? It was a summer school. It was a summer school course. And there was just one terminal. It was, probably 15, 20 kids. And you made your stack of cards. And you load them in the card, and hopefully you don't, spill the cards, because if they weren't exactly in order, it didn't work at all. You had to make sure it was all perfect. So the thing is, it was very hard to make a program, but I made the program, and I was like enamored. I was like, whoa, what is this? I could make something with stuff. It was like super fun. And I was there, right? So, and so after that, I got my own computer. My grandfather helped me buy my own computer because he matched whatever I made that summer, a caddy and a paperboard. He matched the money, and I went and bought my first Apple II. So, it was only 2 of us maybe in the whole school that had another computer. So I was being the key. And it wasn't glamorous like it is today. We were just beat up. We were abused. They're like, you don't know what they're going to. So fast forward, I was playing football. I was still doing my number 2 stuff. And I moved to Texas. And in Texas, I first started in Michigan. And Michigan is a whole, those, Michigan and Texas kids are a little different inside. And so in Michigan, you could play. Texas, I played 1 year, and I got crushed. I got crushed so much by much bigger people, much bigger boys, that I hurt myself. I couldn't play football. And so what did I do? I just went back to my computer. And so that's what started it all. So literally, if I moved to Texas to be project by people much bigger, I might get a different computer. So that's how it worked.
So we're very thankful to those everything big in Texas for this one. Otherwise, I never got the iPhone, which would be so sad. Well, what I'm talking about law is really big because you've got 10 years of experience of it. People always people always find to edit it out my story for me, but like I also have my own 3 to 5 years of wandering in the world. It's an incredible experience. I learn so much about this town. Learn so much about the world.
General Magic, the movie, was all about Bill, right? Make sure you watch General Magic if you can when you travel outside of
Or you use your VPN, or you know you use it. So send it to the US and you can watch it. What would you say the biggest lesson failure taught you was? What was the biggest lesson failure taught you? about yourself and about the world?
Well, I was failing before I went to Silicon Valley. To tell you the truth, I was failing all the time. But I was in an environment where I didn't have people telling me I was a failure. So you could fail, but if you're in an environment where you don't have people telling you you're a failure, you're like, oh, that's just how you learn. And so I created my first microprocessor, literally a processor for a computer when I was 19. And at 19, I needed to get class in college again to make the process. But I went and made the processor with another guy, and it worked. There was some problems with it, but we fixed it. And what we manufactured, we actually manufactured the processor, and we sold it to them. And it worked. The company was another failure. I was like, okay, well, we worked for the company, another, so I just tried another. Most people give up because they're embedded in their mind a culture of failure. If I fail, I'm not ever going to be a success. I'm not good enough. And the thing is, if you think about it, again, we learn to walk. We fail at walking 1,000 times before we learn to walk. And so we have an environment around us, our family, what have you. Oh, you stood up and fell down. Keep going, keep going. You get tracked and then you take one step, fall down. Oh, you can do it, right? When we go to school, it's the exact opposite, right? We go to school and we're told, don't do these grades and you're going to be a failure. You're not going to get to the next grade. You're not going to, and to get programmed into us through a system, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't work. Is you're our failure if you don't do this. If you don't get it perfect every time, and guess what? As entrepreneurs, if you know, and investors, especially early stage, 90% of the things we invest in fail, right? And so if you don't have an environment around, like your family did when you learn to walk, imagine you learn to walk, first time you try to learn to walk, and your family goes, and you fall down. You'll never walk. They're never going to learn to walk. Well, of course you keep saying that, you're not going to try. But that's what we do in school, and well, that's exactly what we don't do, and we forget when it's entrepreneurship. The number of entrepreneurs I quoted the second time after they failed, or the third time out, wasn't because they failed at being a good entrepreneur. They got the assumptions wrong at what they were trying to build. If you're doing anything innovative, this maybe has to do stuff innovative. You're not going to copy big companies. You're going to do something innovative. That means the world will never, or we have never seen it. So you're going to make something no one knows how to build. So if you fail at it, but you try really hard, you figure out a lot of things, but figure something didn't get right. Well, that's the best learning you can possibly do. Is learning through that by doing, not learning from a book. Those are just, we're learning things that the world already knows. When you're doing stuff that the world doesn't know or hasn't seen before, you're gonna fail. If you fail enough times, it's like learning to walk in the right environment, you will succeed. So hey, 10 years of like, and then all of a sudden, I knew enough to make those things. Like successful.
I mean,
I'm very curious about how successful entrepreneurs like yourself switch on the light of success, right? Because failure feels a lot like something, right? And then all of a sudden, you come to one fundamental insight that unlocks. And in the movie, in General Maverick, there was a scene where you started to realize that they don't matter. So what was it that changed when you were time?
Well, I failed enough that I figured out what the kind of the secrets, not all of them, but enough of the secrets of successful. And so, as an engineer or a business person or whoever is like the entrepreneur,
most of the time, when I was a general manager for other places, I learned at general manager, I focused on, I can make this company a success if I do what I do really well. I just do more. So I'm an engineer. I'm just going to engineer better, and we're going to be a success if I make it better. And then when we fail, I'm like, oh, I better understand about the customer. What does the customer want? And so you go and learn something about customer and product marketing and product, and product messaging, those kind of things, as being an engineer. So you start asking questions about the customer. Who is the target customer? I mean, what are the messages and the themes that they have? So you start learning how to develop a product, not engineer a product. But you got to do both. And then, okay, so the next company, Philips, I was engineering a better product for a target market. It was actually came out, it was a real success, critical success. But the problem is you don't have to sell and market. That's like, you need to learn about the sales and marketing stuff. So I started learning about sales and marketing. Right? And then you kind of learn from each of those failures, all of the different functions. And this is what entrepreneur learn about all those functions so that when you're CEO or whatever, starts with most entrepreneurs will be told you. It's that entrepreneurs, when things aren't going right, what do? They do the thing that they're best at, and they work harder at that to make it a success. And it's exactly the wrong thing to do. It's usually they work on it. If you're not experienced, learning about those things, finding people who do know about those things, so that you can augment yourself with a full 360 team around you to help you. You already know how to hire an engineer, the best engineer, but get out of their way, let them do that, and work on the other things that your company is not doing. Well, they're doing, I think, great companies do great jobs at sales, but they're not doing a great job at product execution. Like they can't make the product work really well. So as an entrepreneur, you have to understand, and this is what I learned for these 10 years, and what happened was, and you were not those different things to make sure we get it. That's not things are going on. Don't go do the things you're really good at. Go do the things you're not good at. That's an incredible concept. And the new entrepreneurs are also
because this is something that we try to put you through this week, right? We didn't want you to just actually the product, I love that, but actually to develop the product. So thank you. Before I open it up, I'm curious about why you're a mentor, right?
And I know the standard answer, right? Two crazy people dominated. Okay, but now I'm here.
What would you say is slightly of learn?
Asking. And, how is this different? Because you're very well traveled and that's like the same thing on the market. How is it different here from all the other markets that we invest in?
I started, so I've only been here a while. So I got in a full-on introduction with the entire Lagos entrepreneurial community, which has been amazing, right? And been getting a lot of education on what's possible here, what has been done here. With your incredible successes, it's really inspiring. Let's talk about the things that are the same. This isn't Silicon Valley, this isn't, Europe, this isn't whatever. But what is the same here versus what they might have access to? It's human nature. Human nature is the same everywhere I've gone in the world. I don't care what language you speak, what culture, what religion, whatever. Human nature is the same. And at the end of the day, humans, when faced with problems, can, as we see, solve problems. And so solving problems, I've seen a lot of problems here that are reflected not of what the US or Europe, but I lived in Indonesia for 18 months.
And I thought I was just going to hang out. There's not going to be much to do. I found incredible entrepreneurs building incredible companies in the region and around the region because there were local companies that weren't being solved by international companies. And I learned very quickly to change my brain of how to think about investment in that space, in those regions, versus how you do investments in the other parts of the world. And so when I came here and I met with entrepreneurs yesterday, it was absolutely astonishing that many of the same problems that I saw in Indonesia were here. But these entrepreneurs were creating the same companies, not copying the company. They had no idea what was going on, but they were creating the same solutions to this pain in a local way here. If that's really reassuring, it's like, oh my God, like you're human nature, the things of this, and people are developing these things in parallel, not knowing each other, not knowing what they're doing, and creating very similar groups. And so for me, that gave me gave me confidence. Like, oh, I didn't think I could invest in it. But then I knew what happened. And then when I hear again, journeys that I've been with, companies that I've been working with for 4 or 5 years in Indonesia, I was like, oh, this is cool. And so, yeah, sure, of course you have some unique stuff. I met a person from entrepreneur Feather. I don't know who's Feather, but they're like human ATM on the wheel. I was like, wow, what's that? And I was like, that's cool, right? And it's like, it's growing and everything. We didn't have that in they used to have exams over there. But it was really interesting to see that kind of thing, and that human nature was solving a real pains for people, and they're creating really good technologies. And it has infrastructure like you are already building, and successes that you've already had to show that this is not just a flash in the pan. This is a trend that will keep going. When I was in Paris in 2009, all they were doing in France was complaining, why don't we have Google? Why didn't you make a French Google? They all prime time. Then we started going back every year to France. And by 2014, 2015, the next generation up, instead of them complaining, they were starting to build companies. And now there's some of the world's largest incubators and accelerators around France as well as in Europe. And now they're on their 4th, 5th generation startups. They've learned by doing and failing. Like a bunch of entrepreneurs failed a few times, but now in their 3rd, 4th generation, there are now 10, 20, 30 unicorns coming out of this ecosystem. It takes time, but I'm only seeing the seed, not just the seed, but the seed that's already growing of this community. You just keep it up. Just what happened, like I saw in France and Indonesia, that'll happen here. It's just going to keep growing and growing, which is wonderful to see. As long as everybody keeps giving back to the community and working with each other and building that environment that it's not afraid to fail, but understand you're failing to learn, and we're gonna beat this. That's what I'm saying. So makes me so optimistic that you're well on that. Thank you. Thank you for the vote of confidence. Please give him a round of applause. One more question, and I'll open it up to the floor, which is you this collective. I'm really excited by the idea that there's all these incredible people who build Silicon Valley that are going to, support entrepreneurs and do this globally. At Future Africa, we have a state where we say we invest in 2022, like we're in Silicon Valley in 1972. Really further along than that. But yeah, thank you. And the idea is, it's really important to really focus on this foundational technology and to not just focus on the next door action, but that's just purely operational and software. What can the group collective time in terms of helping founders in emerging markets to get to address foundational technology problems. Well, we don't call ourselves venture capitalists, we don't call ourselves angels. We call ourselves mentors with money. And what we do, and because we don't have LP, we don't have limited partners. So we don't have to worry about returning the money to someone in 5 years or 7 years. We have the luxury of having a team that came out of Silicon Valley. Some people have worked with for 30 years, 20 years, 15 years. Yeah. Where we go in, and most companies that we invest in, they have amazing technology or amazing business idea or what have you. But usually they're not really good at storytelling. They're really good at making something. They're not really good at communicating what they do, how they do the world. And so with this, our team that's in San Francisco, Miami, and Paris, we take these professionals and we team them up with different companies that we work with and help them with those messages, help them build the team, to help them with the marketing, product marketing, those different things. And to create that, to build the vision that they have in reality and be able to make sure that people know about it. Too many times we think, and this was my first business, because I spent so much time and energy and money building the product, I forgot to save money and hire people to help me communicate. And so we basically had to sell for nothing because it was a great product, but nobody knew what it was. But if you just build it, everybody will want to come. That's absolutely not the case. And in many cases, you have to spend 5 times more money on the sales and marketing. And you keep building the product. Learn these things. And so we help. This is why we wrote the book as well, right? What the book built is to help to communicate a lot of these things to all of these founders around the world, because it's a book about human nature. Human nature is the same everywhere that we talk about. So we help them first with the guidance and the next one, helping them plan. But then in some cases, helping them and being part of their team, help augment their team, help them communicate their products and their communication better. And then ultimately, hopefully they'll be successful in it. It's so funny. And very experienced people from all over the world who are talking about community and sort of help start investing and management. So it's very interesting to see that, and we actually these called traffic there. I like folks to stop getting their question ready. Okay? Question. Justin, go. No. All right. Go. So, first of all, if we put the lines what would you be doing right now? What would I be building right now, for example? Well, I'd be all over AI, and I already am. I'm doing a lot of stuff with AI today, but I would be all over AI. Now because AI is a foundation, the AI is a lot of the basic knowledge stacks change for how you're going to build things in the future. Not just how you build them, but how the product performs. So if you're not looking at AI, you are, it's like not looking at the internet like tonight. So you have to do it. I'm not saying it's going to replace people, I'm not saying that, but it's clear to me that a lot of the things we've been trying to build are going to be much better with AI in certain instances. So that would be one thing. The other thing that I would be doing, and it's not to stay out, but you've seen this already started to Lego, is that you're going to take technology. We're seeing lots of generic in-tech problems. Nothing's wrong with that. But when you actually go and solve a problem with modern technology, modern technology construction, different verticals, in the US, we need a little bit of technology involved. They have technology in their businesses, but for communication, mainly, or workflow process, but not how they do something better. So when you come here, most of the places they're just running on the paper, right? Running on paper, they use their mobile phone, but they don't have inside for operational efficiency. So I would be looking at other things you can do inside of verticals with technology and going and penetrating that. And some of that will have AI as well. So it was really wonderful to see like that they had no mobile phone network. And then their first mobile phone network was 3G, right? Like you have nothing and then you have 3G and smartphones. It's a whole different way to think about it versus some other stuff, right? And so I looked at all the businesses around here, and they're really not having any infrastructure whatsoever. How do you go into that and bring them the latest technology from like literally paper to, oh my God, automated workplace. These can be really done cheaply and much more effective. So I think those are the kind of things I would be building. Again. Yeah.
Over have a question. We get the meeting. Okay. Thank you for spending the time with us. My name is Sandra Swaziland. I run a company called Disney that helps employees to get us out of our data by counting. I'm very interested in the part of storytelling for product business success. What element of storytelling are you looking for us to focus on to ensure that our business is succeeding?
Well, in my book, I have a whole chapter on storytelling. What you have to do is you have to tell a story that's non-fiction. Too many companies tell fictional stories, what they believe they want their product to be, and not what the customers will say it is. So first you got to have a non-fictional story. Well, what happens in most of this is when you eat with entrepreneurs, they build something, and then they figure out the story in the end. They build something, go, isn't it cool? And they go, well, what's it for? And then they figure out the story. Think about making a movie. When you make a movie, you don't wait till the end of filming to know what the story is. You start with a script. You start with understanding what script is. We may even do some of the storyboards. We may do some of them even marketing and all those different things in support of that story. So then when you go and build the movie, you can you know what you're going to get on the other side, and at the end, you know what your target is. So every time you're doing that. So most people don't build the story in that entrepreneurial entrepreneurs upfront, define well enough. And what I say to everyone, it's like a script in a movie, in a movie context, is write your press release, write your first page of your website. What is you're clearly communicating? What is the pain you're trying to solve? What's the painkiller you're bringing? What are the actual details of the product and how you buy it, or how you get access to it, how it's supported? What is the 1.5 page press release that talks about all of this? And then when you do that, you're like, oh, I'm only looking at 3 sentences of this 100 sentence press release. I need to look at all these other ones before I start embarking on building it. And that's the way to do it. Because when you get done, you use that press release and like, do we add this to the product or not? Should we do this to the product or not? How does it change the press release? And then when you get done, you know what you do. Too many people are something cool, but they don't know what it is at the end. They have to figure it out. Try to figure that out along the way. Does that make sense? Thank you. Next question. Anyone?
Money being talking about founder and CEO of CLAI, what we've been altering the speech of legal language model to a new market and language that have been on the continent over 2,000 languages. bilingual, so you can make English in another language further, using models to reach that down. My question to you is about, you didn't hear about the theology, 2 hours, 2 hours. You've gotten some insights about the market in the past and now interacting all the. What's the role you think that AI can play that's so different from what's happening, right? The first thing that comes to mind, right? Because I know you have, but what's the first thing that you think that the role that you think that intelligence can play in this market?
Well, I think there's two different ways of answering. So the first thing is, don't go and do all the whiz bang stuff and say how to sell it out. You're already doing it. You're working on language, right? So I think about that as, well, if you can translate all these languages, well, that's great for all these businesses trying to do customer service, customer support, whether that's on the web or via SMS or something like that. Like that's a tremendous base technology that can be reapplied. Think about in the medical field, where they're trying to get people medical help. So I think what you're doing is bringing information to all these underserved communities. So what other information will AI bring underserved communities to help them rise up if they so choose? So that's the kind of thing that's really, really interesting about AI. But I also look at AI from another perspective. So back in the day, I think this was in the late 90s. Yeah, late 90s. People were like, oh, we're going to outsource customer support from North America to India or Africa or Southeast Asia or somewhere. And so what they did was like, okay, we're going to get rid of that job here, we're going to put it here, we're going to train them some English, and they're going to be able to replace expensive work over here. Then the next stage was, we are going to take software engineer in the US, low-level software engineer, we're going to replace them with people here, right? You guys know this, for a lot of the companies we go, right? They don't have money. But what happened was it worked, but it was inefficient. It was, okay, we replaced one software engineer and got 4 over, right? Doing about the same job. But it's still economically made enough sense. Well, we're getting to the point now where you look at AI, it's either to train people, to replace people, or to augment people, to make them better doing their job. When you start thinking about what's going to get outsourced in the US, legal, finance, other things, more low-level finance, more low-level legal, other things, lots of them. That is not going to get outsourced to an AI that does it. It's going to get outsourced to another country with low-cost labor that is using the AI tools to replace that person. Because the AI is not just going to get away with hallucinations. It's not going to get away with it. It's still going to need humans in the loop for many, many, long time, as far as I'm concerned, for everything I know about the technology. And so if AI is replacing people in the US or North America or Western Europe, it's going to another place that's using AI-enabled workers, low-cost workers. They're just not going to get rid of it. And so if you're building something in this area, I think there's, your company 2.0, that you'll be doing something like that, right? So that's how I also see AI uniquely.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Tony. I'm the CTO of Pre-accelerator. We are currently building the largest network of vector recognition. And here's my question. At the point, we did something on our platform, something like a predictive analysis that can kind of detect the possibility of your weight having an accident in the next form. So my question is this: what do you think about startups, companies that when we see what we are talking about in everything is around GPT and not really the core of the machine learning itself?
Oh, okay. Well, you touched on a very good topic. Look, LLMs are large language models like OpenAI and Gemini, Google, and most of them. I started doing AI in 2010 next. We put AI inside of our tools. It wasn't a large language model, of course, but it was AI. We have been using AI for many, many years, 2 decades in many of our industries. LLMs, large language models, just came out a year and a half ago and took the world by storm because they were finally in the interface of these. When I look at next generation systems and all the stuff we're doing, they're called mixtures of expert systems. So AI is going through a mixture of systems or composition of expert systems. There may be an LLM. There's going to be a recursive neural network, a convolutional neural network. There could be heuristic neural networks. There could be all these different, and there could be just for a person also. And there's something on top doing the reasoning to pull out all the interesting things from each of those experts looking at this topic and then giving you a result. So large language models are good for some things. Diffusion models are good for another thing. Recursive models are another thing. It's a whole mixture of all the different neural nets, just like how your brain is. You don't have one brain, one way we use our brain. We have many different centers of different competency in our brain. The same thing's happening with AI programming. We just hear a lot about LLMs because we think they solve everything, and it's not the case whatsoever. Modern systems that have already seen the things that I'm working on are these combinations of all these different types of AI technology.
I'm over here. Yeah, my name is Martin Campos. What we are doing at Campos, we are building a product that helps businesses discover, figure out and manage their spaces in a way that is a lot faster, a lot flexible and cheaper for them in the long term. That's really what we are doing. So we are operating the commercial industry. I've heard you share so much around the fact that entrepreneurs really need to, see failure as learning in process. And through that process, they're able to discover the different elements that make for building a good company, from products, storytelling, marketing, and everything. But I have a question. In this part of the world, to be very honest, a lot of the entrepreneurs that you find really don't have, I would say, enough margin for everyone. So a lot of people are dealing from there, and a lot of the time the expression the entrepreneur is very right. And very right for both from investors, and that. And I know you shared a bit on some of the things that make for good success, for any success. But I would like you to share more on things that you've observed that a lot of entrepreneurs are missing that could lead to failure. I mean, just to reduce or increase the chances of success in the long run. Thank you very much.
Sure. Well, I wrote the book specifically for this. I wrote it if I was 20 years old, all the failures I learned, you can learn through all of those failures on my mentor's problems. So you need to, brush up. But really, there's no way to best learn what failure. And I understand the margin of error thing can be tighter in many places. Even harder to build here than it might be in other places. It's really hard to build. Let's be very clear. To do anything new is incredibly hard work, regardless of the environment. But here it's even harder. So I understand that. But at the same time, you're building a community, right? I don't think it's going to be hard on everybody really hard if they fail, right? So there's already success, people who are successful who understand that that's what happened in Silicon Valley, right? And when I went to France in 2009, people were like, I'm not touching any of these. These are all going to fail. I'm going to lose my career. Blah, blah, blah. But now if you look 15 years later, in France, there is a huge culture of like, we understand that you're going to fail. It's okay. Fail third time. Now, we'll be there back. So it just takes a mindset change that takes time over time. All right. So it's coming, it's already clear, they've already invested who are on your side. They're going to still push you. And it's like whatever. But failure, if you're failing yourself, like you're not putting in work, well, that's a whole different kind of failure. And we're all working together.
talking about the problems we're having and trying to solve them together. It's a whole different another kind of thing. Because we're all believing in it. We're all helping together to try to make this company work with two different very types of things. But still, I understand it's still margin of error. But look, the first thing you can do, what a lot of entrepreneurs do, and I did this as well, is I just went out, I don't want to work for anybody. I don't want to do anything. I'm going to go build it myself. And they have no experience whatsoever. Don't do that. It's really not. Don't do it. Learn with other people doing what you want to do or similar things. Watch how they build a company. Like I did at General Magic, and it was still a horrible failure. But I got to see lots of parts of the business, and I did, I learned and met a lot of various people. And it was still a small company where I got to learn the different pieces of it. So I got some education. But to just start out, you're like fresh out of school, never seen this stuff, don't do that. Just don't do that. And the other thing that I've seen that also helps is get a co-founder. Because you might be good at something. Get somebody who's complementary to you, who's good at something else, and work together so that it's going to be hard. One day you might be really down with the dumps, the other person might be up, they can help pick you up, or vice versa. You want to have a co-founder. Don't get, I hate more than two, but three's okay. But don't be one. Get some experience before you get a second co-founder. The other one is get a mentor. Now, a mentor might be like me. Maybe he's a great investor. A lot of times, he might be somebody not an investor who has done this before. So get a mentor. Okay.
We'll take our final question. And then, except other people have, we have to wrap it up because we have a network. But we'll take our final question.
My name is Shiva. I run an innovation studio where we help create ventures and reach out. Just a question, I heard a lot of things about it, just kind of what we lost in natural intelligence. So, in your book, it talks about how one of the best wonderful parts of building people is just get to work together with them. And so for me, I'm very curious, like really truly believe about the arts of innovation. So what is this city, which is live, still the world today for us to bring people together, and then that really drives innovation. And what potential ventures exist for those opportunities?
I'm trying to understand your question specifically. What is specific? You're saying if we use AI, what?
No.
If we don't use AI,
not people who don't this or that, but if we truly seek to bring people together, what opportunities exist for us to do so in a way that creates innovation?
It's just curiosity. Human nature and curiosity is what brings people together. That's why you're all here. You're curious. You want to learn from each other. And the thing that was beautiful about Silicon Valley when I got there in 1991 was that there was a community of people who were just trying to make hard things. And the community opened up and helped each other. And I don't care whether you're using AI or not. AI is not going to replace people. It's not going to replace entrepreneurs. It just won't. Help them, but it's not going to replace that. It's not going to replace human connection. And it's not going to replace human innovation. It may augment us, but it will not take it away. All right. And so the best thing you can do is to be in the right environment, and you guys already have them. It's amazing. I've been here for 2.5 days. I've already seen 5 communities of people doing exactly this right here. And so your natural curiosity, natural people who are driven to make good change in the world and want an open and sharing ideas. The thing for me that happened over Silicon Valley over those 30 years I was there was it turned into something really ugly. It turned into something that wasn't about sharing. This is mine. I don't want to talk to you, not convincing fear.
it wasn't like we had this kind of sessions anymore. It was like, you're part of that army, and I'm part of this army, and we're one with each other. And I'm gonna make sure I have yogurt and massages every day when I go to work. And then if I don't have this kind of juice, I'm not coming to work. And then now I'm not even going to the office anymore. Tell me why I shouldn't even go to the office and not having any human connection. So what happened was Silicon Valley has deteriorated because of its success. And its success had actually divided. And the reason why I come to places like here in Indonesia, and I went to France in the first place, and I went to Silicon Valley 8 years ago. I couldn't wait to get it. And everybody's like, when I went and showed up, they're like, why the hell are you here? We don't want to go to Silicon Valley. Like, and even Silicon Valley, you know, to be able to create in your brain, it takes community. It takes geeks talking to each other, having a good time and geeking out and building things. That's what makes something special. And that it's going to make something special this year, 10 years from now, and 100 years from now. It ain't going to be ad. I'll tell you that right now. We're going to use it, but it ain't going to replace it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tony. Right? Yoda, what's your last words for us?
What's your last words? So we talked about don't be afraid to fail. Work together in a team. You know you don't know everything. And don't be afraid to ask questions and ask for help. So those are final words. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
A book. It's a book. Book.
Oh, I think it's a book.
This is a book. So this is a book called The Prosperity Paradox. And it's a book by a good friend of ours, the SSFF. So I'm not playing. I'm playing. I'm feeling a book with the guy who grew up in this neighborhood. And actually, I met many years ago. I just talks about how innovation can make information about the problem. So hopefully, got some investments for.
Thank you so much.
Great job, everybody, for coming out. Thank you. So basically, we come to the end of the program, but we're gonna leave the space open. We have music. We don't even should have some music, but even if you don't, we make stuff by talking to each other. So feel free to connect with people around you. There's a bunch of accelerate founders. You can get to know them. We're not telling you who they are, so you gotta figure them out. But thank you so much for coming. And Justin.
Two quick things. Somebody lost this in the back row, possibly. Okay, good enough. And second thing, we can give a big round of applause to you as well.
We will not have Tony in Nigeria, but for these two. So please give them a big round. You want to take the one?
Inspiring when you volunteer right here, but it's so welcoming. I think there's so much for that. It's really so exciting. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's super inspiring to be here. Thank you so much for this. Thank you very much. We have the space for just over an hour, so feel free to folks mingle. Thanks again. Hey, thank you. Everything other than okay. Yeah, good.
Yeah, very, very different.
Really, really good. It's quite interesting. Because you don't really. I mean, so like, you have to take it. It's very interesting. I mean,
Just to be informed, I have a few lighthouse formalities to complete very quickly. We have to take a picture. We have to take a picture here, so we'll try and organize ourselves. Where our friends for taking the picture. So we're already in place. We're already in place. So we'll quickly organize.